if you do have low blood oxygen saturation, there's studies done, there's tests been done that hydrogen alone can improve that and maintain your blood oxygen saturation. But if you need it to have even quicker and you have a 92 or a 90 or 88, yes, I could say temporarily offer oxygen and or hydrogen together to raise it. But once you take someone off oxygen, their blood oxygen drops back down again.
When it comes to biohacking equipment, red light therapy, hydrogen machines, PEMF mats, it is definitely the Wild West right now, and it can be difficult to understand what is actual quality, what the science says, and what the hype is. So today I wanted to sit down with Mateo from Axiom and talk more about hydrogen. This is something that's been coming to the forefront more and more. There are a lot of companies out there. And so I really wanted to have a nuanced conversation with him about what to look for in hydrogen products, how to test hydrogen products, how to test hydrogen water and water in general, and some different alarm bells that might go off when you're trying to decipher information in general. So I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Now, they are coming out with a new hydrogen bottle. If you want to check that out, it's going to be on pre-sale only, and they're only going to offer it to my community initially. So head to the link in the show notes if you want to check that out. No pressure, of course. I always tell people if you're skeptical about this, just listen and maybe try some tablets first. But this is just information I thought that you would find interesting. And I also give a little bit of an update on my daughter and the way that we've been using hydrogen therapeutically for her. So lots of stuff in this episode. I hope that you enjoy it. And again, make sure to head down to the show notes to get more information. In the world of weight loss supplements, hacks, peptides, biohacks, and gadgets, one thing that's still not getting enough airtime, in my opinion, is the impact of artificial light at night on your metabolism. Now, there's actual ample scientific research to show that not enough light in the mornings and too much light at night actually slows down your metabolic rate. This is why I choose Viva Rays to be my go-to source for blue blockers. I absolutely love the quality of their glasses, and I have a spectrometer and have measured to see that they actually block the amount of blue light that they say they do. So if you're looking for a pair of high-quality blue blocking glasses to support your metabolism, your health, your mood, and your sleep, check out Viva Rays and use the code YOGI to save 15%. It's vivarays.com and use the code YOGI to save 15%. Thank you to Viva Rays for sponsoring today's podcast. I'll be honest, this last year, I've definitely noticed some signs of aging as I am 46 in June, and I'm always looking for natural, holistic ways to support my body. I've been a big fan of red light therapy for many years now, and recently started using the Bond Charge face mask to help my body produce its own collagen. Now, here's the thing that differentiates Bond Charge face mask from the rest of the ones on the market. It has specific wavelengths that are actually meant to target the skin and collagen production. It has been shown to reduce fine lines and wrinkles, and it is low EMF. So it's very safe to use. When you're actually going to have a device on your head, you want to make sure it is the lowest EMF possible. I have tested this with my own EMF meter and believe it is safe and recommend it to clients. So if you're interested in checking out the Bond Charge face mask, I have a special discount for podcast listeners. You can go to bondcharge.com and use the code Sarah Kleiner, all one word, for 15% off site-wide. I really love the Bond Charge red light face mask. And if you're looking for more natural ways to support your body in this age and stage of life, I recommend checking it out. Go to bondcharge.com and use the code Sarah Kleiner, all one word, to save 15%. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I have a good friend here with me today, Mateo. And this is, I think, your second time on the podcast. We're going to talk more about hydrogen, allergies, immune system, Brown's gas, oxyhydrogen, and hydrogen water bottles. Maybe we'll try to get all that in there. So thanks for being here, Mateo.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I always appreciate it. I'm honored to be a part of your podcast and connecting with your community again.
Yes. Yeah. It's great to have you. And, we were just talking. I feel like we probably could have talked another hour, but I'm like, okay, we have to hit the record button at some point. No, it's just always great to talk with you because, the reason why I work with you guys is that you have integrity and you're always trying to do the right thing.
So I've taken a little hiatus away from all the biohacking shows and the travels and even just a lot of things with the company to um, put more of my attention and focus back into the research and development. And so we could be investing all of our money back into marketing and ads and
Mhm.
promotions and paid ads and all the stuff, which we still to date never have paid for any marketing ads or anything like that. We're constantly reinvesting the money back into research and development, into quality of the machine, um, quality of the technology. We're now working with a new company out of Europe that actually works with the European aerospace. And so they've developed different patents for them, different technologies. They're really, really advanced. One of, I believe, the top research and development firms in Europe. And so they're doing incredible things. They only take on a few projects per year, and they're very selective who they work with, and they've chosen to work with us. So I'm super
Mm.
honored about this and to have just an incredible group, this younger team of guys and girls that are scientists and PhDs, and they've been diving into AI technology for the past 30 years. And so they have accepted us and they're working with us to push some of the advancements. We're now legally, we can say we have a provisional patent applied for. So we have that now on our new technologies. And so we're finding new ways to do incredible things with the hydrogen molecule to make it even more effective and bioavailable.
Mm.
So that is very, very exciting to know that already what I would consider, the world's most advanced hydrogen technology company, Axiom H2, we're already there. And now we've just partnered with an incredible company to further the advancement in in every aspect of the machine, how it operates, how it produces the hydrogen, how much hydrogen produces, how our sensors are developed, how the computer chips develop, new things with apps and integrating AI with it. And so, really, really exciting things that I can't wait to share with you guys. So that's one very, very new piece of information coming out with Axiom Technology soon. Um, we're starting to work with different universities. We're starting our clinical trials. Everything has been self-funded for myself, the founder and the owner. I've never taken one investment. I've never taken a loan. So this has been a very slow process, very organic, slow process. Thanks to people like you believing in me and the company are helping us, reinvest back into the company to continue to produce high quality, the best quality machines and the highest technology when it comes to molecular hydrogen in the world.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's been life-changing for me and so many of my clients. I feel like I need to start collecting Axiom success stories within just my small little private community. So I definitely believe in it because I've seen firsthand how helpful it can be for people. So you're doing a good thing.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, we're now connecting with pro sports, pro tennis, pro football, pro soccer. We signed contract with UFC gyms.
Nice.
Um, and we're now in Therasage is carrying us, Brain Tap with Dr. Patrick Porter is carrying us, Synergy Wellness is carrying us, Hippocrates down in Florida where they help thousands of people with cancer. So, this organic mission is spreading organically, and like you said, now it's another whole nother task is just going to collect all these testimonials because amazing things happen and it just goes
Mhm.
under the rug, right? We don't get to collect the
Yeah.
data. But now it's to a point where we need to start to go back to our people and really organize all these testimonials because everything from rheumatoid arthritis, Parkinson's, dementia,
Mhm.
Alzheimer's, different types of cancer, cancerous tumors, COPD, autism, detached retina of the eye. I mean, just the most amazing things continue to come into our DMs and our emails letting us know. And so it's such a rewarding mission. And again, thank you so much for being part of this mission. And, what I can do and promise to you guys is always give you guys the best customer service, give you guys the best product. So you as an influencer in the health and wellness space, that people go to you for your guidance and your know-how, how to navigate what works, what doesn't work. So my job is to always provide you with the best tools that you're going to release to your audience, and the best customer service for after service purchase experience and things like that.
Like for me, the reason why we invested in hydrogen in the first place was not because just health optimization. It was because we were at a point with my daughter where we were going to have to send her away. Like that's something no family ever wants to do with their child, is have to send them to a facility because they can't keep them at home, because they can't keep the whole family safe. And
Yeah.
hydrogen was just like our, like, well, what else are we going to do? It was
Hmm.
that place we were at. And, last year we were using the holy hydrogen last year, and I was seeing improvements. We switched to the Axiom in June of last year. And this year it's allergy season. Pollen count was almost like 15,000 last week. And she's going to school. She hasn't been aggressive with us. She did have a little bump in the road where she wanted to sleep a lot extra, like 20 hours a day for a few days. She came out
Hmm.
of, we do nebulizer, then put her on the hydrogen, and she is, she's better. So I feel like it's something we've consistently done. And I consistently see that it's helped her when we've tried so many other things. And we're still bouncing with the immunologist and different
Hmm.
doctors, and nobody can figure out what's going on at all.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, why not do this? Why not inhale hydrogen? It's it's really been life changing for us, and I continue to see benefits from it. So when I talk about hydrogen, people are like, "Oh, I had a comment on the video we did prior from someone that said, "Oh, you're ripping people off with this machine. There's a lot better machines out there for less money." And I kind of said, "Well, I look forward to your YouTube channel and your podcast where you interview all of those wonderful companies, because I don't know what you're talking about." you know,
Yeah.
I I haven't seen something that is comparable to this at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I was a hydrogen consumer. I still am, but I was in your shoes on your end many, many years ago, and I was buying this machine, then that machine, then this machine, and I got let down. The machine failed, the service failed. I mean, X, Y, and Z. The whole reason Axiom was created was out of frustration from myself
Mm-hmm.
as a consumer. I was obsessed with hydrogen and the knowledge and the studies and the safety profile and the effects. And
Mm-hmm.
so, out of my obsession and passion with hydrogen, and I couldn't find one company that just had it dialed in, had someone you
Mm-hmm.
could call on the phone that was educated, that you could, let alone get a phone number, talk to someone, and then talk to someone that was educated, and then talk to someone on the phone that was educated that cared. Couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so other companies was hiding behind, dodging on warranties and no and this, and it was just like, okay, you know what, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And
Yeah.
so like you said, hey, be my guest, go get the other machines. That's what I say. I don't need to bash any other company or any machine. All I can do
Mm-mm.
is focus on myself, my
Mm-hmm.
brand, our clients, and giving you guys the best product and the best service. That's what I can do. Someone else comes and they have a better machine, then great. I'm so happy for them. May the best man win. This isn't a competition for me. This is just to give my life some purpose to help the world. And I know we're helping people with hydrogen. I know the Axiom machines are safe and they're effective. They work. We didn't accidentally, with no marketing dollars, get into NFL and NBA and UFC gyms and all these clinics and anti-aging centers. And it didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen because we had $1 million in marketing, and we had a Gary Brecka. We could have had
Right.
those guys. We didn't want that. We wanted to
Yeah.
do it different. We wanted to take it slow. And we're here now, touching base with just the average person, like the real people that are out there. And I know
Hmm.
people have been burned. I know people have bought bunk products and they've got a sour taste in their mouth. And now they see another product and they think it's the same. I know people that have said, "Hey, oh yeah, yeah, I tried hydrogen." I'm like, "Oh, excellent. What'd you think?" "No, I didn't work, didn't feel it." "Okay, well, do you mind if I ask what you did, what you tried?" "Yeah, I tried the water bottle. I had it a couple times. I didn't feel a
Mm.
thing."
Yeah.
It's like, well, first off, it's not apples to apples. You might
Mm-mm.
think one hydrogen product means you tried hydrogen in general. And that's the sad thing, that I've been super conscious not to just ever offer a product that doesn't move the meter, because what does that do? Well, one, hurt the reputation of my company, Axiom H2. Also, it's going to hurt the reputation as hydrogen therapy as the whole community.
Yeah,
So for
definitely.
anyone out there that's creating hydrogen products or offering hydrogen products, you guys need to know that you're in a powerful position of influence to know that you could hurt the whole industry and
Mhm.
cause fear and doubt for people that could have great results, because they tried a bad product. Now they said, no, hydrogen doesn't work. And
Right.
that's
Well,
a
now
shame.
now Gary Brecka is saying, because he was promoting a particular hydrogen bottle, which I bought just to test out for fun. But he
Sure.
was promoting this bottle big time, and now he's coming out and saying it's crap.
Wow.
And
See?
then he's going back to tablets. I'm like, I don't know. It's hard for me to trust people when they do stuff like that. But yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
why were you so high on this thing and talking about it all the time? And now all of a sudden you're coming out, and this has just been in the last few weeks because my husband follows Brecca. He likes Brecca. I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'm not going to bad talk anybody, but I'm
Yeah.
skeptical. I'm very
Yeah.
skeptical because there's always like like lots of things, that it's just like, oh, this and this, and you need this, and you need this, and you need this, and it's like, I don't know. But anyway, everyone else make your own decision and go with your own gut feeling. But that's what my husband
Yeah.
told me. He's no longer promoting the bottles that he was, and he's saying, oh, they don't work. They work for a little bit and then they break. And that's why I bought one. I bought one like a year ago, and I've only used it
Mm-hmm.
like 2 or 3 times. Granted, it still measures hydrogen, but I've only used it 2 or 3 times. It's been sitting in my cabinet collecting dust for a year. So I don't know. I guess I need
Right.
to get it down and use it every day and then see what happens. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's so interesting, because you could be a Gary Brecka, a huge influencer, and on his side defending him, he probably didn't know he was given maybe a bunk bottle, let's say, and he thought it was
Mm-hmm.
nice. He didn't maybe do the deep research, and then he promoted it, made millions, sold millions, and now it's like, okay, wait, this isn't what I thought. And so
Yeah.
that's why, like, in my mission, it's so critical for me. If I need to put out a product for you to put your name on it, Sarah, or Gary to put
Yeah.
his name on it, we have to make sure it's tested. We have to
Right.
make sure you have proper customer support set up and proper
Mm-hmm.
warranty strategy set up and all these things, because anything electronic is gonna could have issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's really scary for an influencer to take on a big product, put his name on it, and then blast it out to millions of people.
Yeah.
I mean, because that could happen. And now, I saw the stuff with 10x Health and him, and now Echo, and companies are dropping him, and he's dropping them, and it got messy. And I
Mm-hmm.
had that opportunity to get involved with him, a year ago, and I decided not to. Said, you
Mm-hmm.
know what, I don't want to go that route. And people said, "Hey, Axiom H2, why haven't you offered a bottle?" We've been on the market for 3 years. I've been researching this hydrogen for 12 years. And I had a bottle 10 years ago. I had a hydrogen rich water bottle before I knew anything about anything. And, then you get to learn the nitty gritty. Okay, these
Mm-hmm.
bottles after 3 months break. The ones
Mm-hmm.
that don't break after 3 months, the hydrogen production is going like this, down, down, down. The ones
Mm-hmm.
that are still producing hydrogen, that are still running after 3 months to 6 months. Okay, now they're releasing oxides. And, just one thing after another that you'll never know until you do months and months or years of testing.
Research. Yeah. And that's hard on
And
the
so,
consumer, that's really
yeah.
tough. All right, let's come on the podcast was after we had been using the Axiom for a little while, for a few months, and I was noticing major progress with my daughter. You know,
Hmm.
child who wet the bed and was 16 years old, still wetting the bed, stopped
Yeah.
wetting the bed after just switching to the Axiom. I'm like, there's something going
Amazing.
on with this machine. Like there's something different about this.
Hmm.
So that's, it's tough as a consumer because I get sucked into people too. If you've been watching the show for a while, you know I'm a diet and lifestyle person first always, but there are a couple of things I add into my daily routine that enhance my energy, my mood, my sleep, and even hormone balance. And one of those at the top of that list is Shilajit. Now, when it comes to Shilajit, there are a lot of brands on the market. I chose Black Lotus Shilajit because they test their products for heavy metals and they're very, very conscientious about their sourcing. They're also a small family owned business and make sure that they deliver a quality product. Now, I use the Shilajit tablets every single morning, and there are actually a host of studies that show it can help with hormone balance and even reduce things like hot flashes. If you're interested in trying out the Black Lotus Shilajit, go to blacklotusshilajit.com and use code Sarah K for 15% off anything on the entire site. I personally love the tablets. I'm not a big fan of the resin, but you can try either one of those again going to the website www.blacklotusshilajit.com and use code Sarah K for 15% off the entire site.
We were speaking with a really wonderful woman. She used to work with David Asprey's team for a few years. And we just had a video call with her the other day, and she goes, one thing I wanted to say, and I wish I had this recorded, but we are gonna do a video, so it'll come back out. But she said, I've tried every hydrogen machine out there. She goes, I've been to all the shows.
Mm-hmm.
David Asprey's team. We did our call. She was in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. So,
Yeah.
she's a total biohacker. And she goes, I want you to know, I've tried all the other machines out there. High flow rates, this one, this one, this one. She goes, your machine is the only one that works. Now, of
Mm-hmm.
course, I would say this as the owner and the founder of Axiom H2. I would share this story, but it's real. This is a true story. I'm not going to lie because this is going to come back out. And
Mm-hmm.
he says, I've tried every other hydrogen machine and yours was the only one that worked. I go, wow, thank you for sharing that. What was it about? She goes, I've tried other ones, didn't feel a thing, didn't notice anything. She's like, I'm super sensitive. She's had this long, very long foot injury. She
Mm.
breathed the machine. See him at a show. She goes, and within 5-10 minutes, she goes, my foot pain went away. She goes,
Wow.
this has been going on for years. And I've tried all these other hydrogen machines, higher flow rates, this, and the other. She goes, nothing worked. Within 5-10 minutes, she goes, the foot pain immediately went away. She goes, that's when I knew something was different about your machine. And
Mm.
everyone wants to say, well, let's just look at flow rate. Let's look at this one
Right.
has 600 cc's and this one has 2,000, 3,000.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
one's cheaper. Then go with that
Mm-hmm.
one. Be my guest. I'm saving you guys the work and the research because I was the consumer buying all the machines, doing all the testing, and came
Mm-hmm.
back around full circle. But do your own path, go down your own line, try the other machines. And why we don't promote all the technologies because it's patent pending. We have patent pending technology. We've had proprietary technology in the machine that we don't share on the website. Why do we do that? Because it's a new market. There's
Mm-hmm.
only about four
People
really
steal.
proper. Yeah, people are stealing us. We're going through it right now. There's mock
Yeah.
machines, mimic machines coming up of Axiom H2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's just been interesting. So that's why we can't post everything on our website. We can't share everything publicly because we are on hyper focus. What is Axiom doing? Where's their technology coming from? How are they doing it? We need to copy them. We need to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's great to be the leader and spearheading the way of where everything's going. But as a business, we still need to protect what we're doing to give us these great results. You know, why
Mm-hmm.
isn't other machines signed up with, UFC gym? Because ours works. Why isn't other machines signed with all these other big players? Because ours works. And
Yeah.
that's just what it comes down to. It's quality over quantity. And like you said, you
Mm-hmm.
get people sending you things. Well, this machine. You know, I'm not trying to sell anyone on anything. Do your research. I need to educate you guys. Hopefully, the education makes sense, it resonates, and then you make that choice. But if not,
Mm-hmm.
please be my guest. Experience the other company.
Yeah.
Everyone wants, they get on a phone call with me or in the emails, they want us to outsell the other machine. Well, sell me on it. Sell me. No, I'm not. I'm not going to sell you. I'm going to tell you the
Right.
differences, and and I want whatever's best for you. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
When we, let's say, lose a sale, someone says, "Hey, thank you so much for describing everything. I really appreciate it. You know what? We're going to go with this machine. It works better for our budget." That's great. We respect,
Yeah.
example, George Wiseman. We respect his work.
Mm-hmm.
We hope you have a great experience. 8 months later, they come back around. Hey, I was just speaking to you guys 8 months ago. I didn't quite get the effects I wanted. I didn't get the service I wanted. I didn't get the results I wanted. I want to come back and get your machine. You know,
Yeah.
that's fine. We
I've had a
want
lot
you
of
guys.
people that have reached out to me that have been doing the Browns gas and they're just not,
They're
some
not
people,
getting those results.
yeah. There are some
And
that swear by it, but I've had a lot of people come through recently to say that it's not getting them the results they thought it was. And they want,
yeah,
yeah. So I'm like, go ahead. There's
w-
information out there that says it's great, but then there's also anecdotal information that says it's not. Um,
yeah,
so you have
yeah.
to
This
go with,
isn't for me. It's not a race.
right.
We're doing very consistent sales. We're international. We have accounts like just like clockwork every week, every month. So that's why I can
Mhm.
honestly say, hey, why don't you go with that company? Um, I hope you have a wonderful experience. And if you don't, we're always here for you. So
Yeah.
that's way they can have an experience of it could be good or bad. They could have
Hmm.
bad customer service. They could have no customer service. They could have faulty machine. And then that they will respect and appreciate Axiom more when they come to us. They say, wow, now I get why we pay this money. Now I get the results. Now I get the customer service. It's worth it, for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Maybe we could talk a little bit about Brown's gas just because I think a lot of people are confused about and then also oxyhydrogen. That's another one that's been coming up in my community because there's people that say oxyhydrogen is superior. So what would be
yeah,
the difference? And I've had Dr. Tyler on the podcast before. That's how I actually was introduced to you because I was
yeah,
telling Tyler about the amazing results we were having with the holy hydrogen, which is a different tier than what you guys have. I still have a holy hydrogen. We still use it to make water. We don't use it for inhalation anymore because I feel like why would we do that when we have something that works quicker, better, faster? But I
hmm,
was telling Tyler about the results we were having because my daughter stopped having violent episodes within 1 week of using the holy hydrogen. And I'm like, nothing else we've done has worked. This is working.
hmm,
It's like, you've got to try the Axiom. If that's working for her, you have to try this machine. And so that is how I reached out to you and got started with this. But Tyler was telling, I think we talked about it briefly on the podcast I did with him. And if anyone's like, who's she talking about? Dr. Tyler LeBaron runs the Molecular Hydrogen Institute. So he really kind of pulls all the research together about hydrogen. He doesn't rep any companies. He's a good one if you want to get more information on hydrogen, period, and therapeutic interventions. But we talked briefly about this stuff, but I don't even really remember myself about
yeah.
why things are not necessarily as optimal as just pure hydrogen.
Yeah, I did a few interviews with Dr. Tyler LeBaron as well, and because we get tons of inquiries about Brown's gas and oxyhydrogen,
Mm-hmm.
and so I said, look, Dr. Tyler LeBaron, founder of MHI, the world's leading research institute for molecular hydrogen. I said,
Mm-hmm.
what's your take on this? What's your opinion? What do you feel? And he said, well,
Mm-hmm.
look at the research. The research is in
Yeah.
hydrogen. There's some
Mm-hmm.
with oxyhydrogen. There's been a few studies with the mix, but he goes,
Mm-hmm.
the majority of all the research is with hydrogen. And so that's what I wanted to do. Follow the research, listen to the founder of MHI, and that's why our machines are pure hydrogen. And we're getting oxygen through our atmosphere. Like right now I'm
Right.
getting oxygen therapy. You know, at maybe a lower concentration than a machine produces, but through my research and through a very simple what's it called, an oximeter, a blood oxygen
Hmm.
saturation meter. I think it's
Yes.
called an
Yep. I know
oximeter.
what you. Hmm.
Um,
Pole
you
Fox.
know,
Yeah,
the,
I've got one. I've got a couple
yeah,
of them laying around here. Yep.
they're $30, $50. They're very inexpensive, and you
Hmm.
can measure your blood oxygen saturation. And
Hmm.
ideally, it needs to be between 95 and 99. 99 and 100 doesn't mean it's the best. Ideally, it's
No.
98,
Mhm.
97.
More
And
is not better.
so, yeah, more is not always better. And so,
Right.
when if you do have low blood oxygen saturation, there's studies done, there's tests been done that hydrogen alone can improve that and maintain your blood oxygen saturation. But if you need it to have even quicker and you have a 92 or a 90 or 88, yes,
Hmm.
I could say temporarily offer oxygen and or hydrogen together to raise it. But once you take someone off oxygen, their blood oxygen drops back down again.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hydrogen, it doesn't happen. It will raise,
Right.
you take off hydrogen, it stays. So, that's why I just moved away from oxygen therapy as a whole many, many years ago, because it's great. It has a time and a place, but the long lasting, deeper effects were with hydrogen. And so,
Hmm.
as well, there's a higher safety profile for just pure hydrogen versus oxyhydrogen. When you combine those two gases, it becomes more combustible.
That makes a lot of
You got
sense.
to keep the risk down and the reward high, the risk to reward. And the risk to
Yes.
reward for oxyhydrogen, I don't see any more rewards over pure hydrogen. And then
Right.
this is my opinion coming from 12 years studying it. And by the way, 12 years ago, I started with Brown's gas machine. I started with
Hmm.
oxyhydrogen. Why would I, running one of the world's leading hydrogen companies, why would I, and I could be making oxyhydrogen machines all day. I'm not.
Right.
Why would I, 12 years ago with oxyhydrogen and Brown's gas, not use that anymore and go pure hydrogen? Well,
Hmm.
maybe I learned something along the 12 years that says hydrogen's more effective, it's safer. I mean, so again, I welcome everyone to do their own research, dive deep, watch all the interviews, get studied, get certified at MHI, whatever you need to do.
Hmm.
You do your own research and come to your own conclusion. But I've already done it for you. So that's why we're here with pure hydrogen machines. And a lot of people are coming from Brown's gas machines and they're saying,
Hmm.
it helped, but not that much. And I expected a lot more. It seems
Hmm.
like maybe your machine could help better. And also just the user friendliness of making chemicals, sodium
Oh yeah.
hydroxide, changing filters. None
I'm
of
not
that is
trying to play with that.
ideal. No.
I did buy a little
So
UV filter and I pull the tubes off and I pop that thing in there. And I love
excellent.
that. So I think that's when
Yes.
I have people in my community buy the machines now, I'm like, there's a UV filter or not, or it's a cleaning machine and it's got UV lights in it.
Uh-huh.
I pull the tubes off after we use them, probably once a day because we use it multiple people, me, my husband, my daughter, making water. So
Right.
at least once a day, just throw it in the machine for an hour and it sanitizes all the tubes. But you don't it's not
Amazing.
adding a bunch of chemicals or switching stuff out. It's not an extensive process that you have to go through to maintain the machine because I've dealt with this with other things I've invested in the house like water systems and then you have this extensive filter system. Who's going to come change that? Like that's cute,
Hmm.
does all this stuff, but who's going to maintain it? And after a few
Yep.
years you made this big investment, but if it's like too complicated to maintain, then what good is it?
Exactly. If it's not user friendly, you
Mm-hmm.
will eventually not use it. It will
Mm-hmm.
slowly become that thing on the counter and the side collecting dust. And I've learned it too well. I bought these
Yeah.
expensive things. They're supposed to work great. It wasn't user friendly. The maintenance was too much. And
Mm-hmm.
realistically, you just won't use it anymore.
Yeah.
And the Axiom is just great. You put water in it maybe once a month, and you just push the button and it works.
Yeah. It's
You
easy.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and our newest models have UVC lights built into there. So we have an extra sanitation built in with UVC lights. Um, Soon we're going to offer an ozone. It's a mini ozone machine. It connects to the back of the machine, and you'll just run it for about 30 minutes, and it floods ozone to the full interior of the machine, cleansing everything. We
Oh,
have those out
I
right
want,
now.
all right. You need to send me one.
We'll get you one. Yep.
I need one of those.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Okay. Amazing. Yeah. Because I mean, there are other people out there that are like, oh, you can't clean it, pull it apart. I'm like, well, I only use double distilled water in mine. And I don't think it is, yeah, that huge of a thing. But I would love to try the ozone cleaner for sure.
Yeah, it's just another way to just be proactive and preventative.
Mm-hmm.
And the interior chamber that holds the water is a polymer mixture that's antimicrobial.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an amazing feature that mold can't even grow on there. And it is a closed system, meaning mold spores can't enter a closed system.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have to have mold in your home and spores around for mold to get into these machines to start with. So, being a closed system protects it and prevents it from mold entering.
Yeah.
And, so we're always thinking, this ozone cleansing system, the UVC lights, our new
Mm-hmm.
patented technology, all these things are continuing to push the limits and actually break new barriers in the scientific world for how hydrogen is activated, um, uh, how clean the hydrogen is with new advanced technology with the proton exchange membrane that we're
Mm-hmm.
developing and patenting as well. So we're always trying to advance the research and to always provide the best quality hydrogen, the highest purity, and the most bioavailable form of hydrogen there is.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can talk a little bit about the bottle that you guys came out with because I just got one from you guys about a week ago and I've been having a blast playing with it. I think when this episode comes out, they'll be available for pre-order. So just go to the link in the description if you want to check them out. But I've been, like I said, I bought the other hydrogen bottle. I'm not going to name names. I bought it purely just to see if it like what it was all about. And I've kind of been putting them side by side and make like pitting them against one another. And it's been pretty interesting just to even see the differences in the water, the ease of using the machine, the sturdiness between the two, because you definitely see a huge difference in the parts between the two.
When you're consuming something into your body on
Mm-hmm.
maybe a daily basis or inhaling a
Yeah.
gas, this is
Yep.
extremely intimate, right? But
Mm-hmm.
so you can't. This is something like you said you don't want to play with. You don't want to risk. And I'll get this $50 bottle from Amazon. Well, you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys plan to use this on a daily basis, ingesting something in a gas form, which enters direct the bloodstream or
Right.
into your stomach for your drinking water, you
Right.
don't want to go cheap on this. These are things you don't go cheap on for sure. And so for 3 years since I launched the company, we've had people say, "Hey, what about the water bottles? Do you guys have one? Why don't you have one? And what bottles would you recommend?" So for
Mm-hmm.
3 years, we've been getting those emails, and I had people say, "Why don't you just make a bottle, get it out there? You could get the market share, right? I could have made millions of dollars just by releasing a
Sure.
product." And I never did that
Right.
until,
You guys have been working on one for a long time, though.
yeah,
I know a
exactly.
long,
Yeah,
yeah.
and people from a year ago are saying, "Hey, remember you said you guys were working on a bottle? Do you have it
Yep.
ready? Are you still working on it?" And and some of our really great people said, "Hey, you've got the bottle out, and they've got the prototype like you have." And they said, "Oh my goodness, I remember you talking about this over a year ago, and now here it really is." And
Mm-hmm.
so I've had other big influencers try water bottles, meet the owners of the company. They never took it on because they said no. Either they were lacking information, lacking the quality, lacking the test. And so this bottle that I basically denied millions and millions of dollars not to release a bottle and not just to get money, because I'm not here just to get money. I'm here to provide you guys the world's best products. And so this water bottle has been in development over a year. We're achieving super saturated levels of hydrogen rich water, which is a new thing. You don't see a lot of bottles talking about super saturated levels.
Mm-hmm.
What we found with hydrogen rich water is there is a very distinct difference in the saturation levels and the results. And so
Mm.
I know there's some studies done with rheumatoid arthritis with hydrogen rich water, and like
Yep.
0.6 ppm and 2 ppm shows very mild effects with the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. And when you get
Mm-hmm.
above 6 ppm and even above ours, which is far higher than 9 ppm, you're looking at almost complete symptoms completely diminished with rheumatoid arthritis.
Wow.
There's also other extremely powerful anecdotal evidence we've seen through our different clinics that we release the prototypes to. And so, yeah, the bottle is something very, very special. And I don't know what's more special, what I'm more excited about, our newest machines out right now or the new bottle out right now, because the
Mm-hmm.
bottle is so small and compact and yet so powerful. And
Yeah.
it's achieving never seen before super saturated levels of hydrogen rich water that's never been seen before, never been used before.
Yeah.
And so we're
Yeah.
seeing results that's never been experienced before.
Yeah. I'm going to share a photo of one I took because I used the bottle and then I brought the water up to my room to have overnight.
Uh-huh.
And look at this. Isn't this crazy looking? Look at these little bubbles here. Do you see that? If you
Yeah.
guys are watching on video, this is what the hydrogen bottle's been doing. And I've been using the Axiom, the regular hydrogen, and it doesn't do that.
No.
What in the heck is that? And it does that to all the water. So it was next to my little battery operated red light panel. So the panel wasn't plugged into a wall, so it didn't have non-native EMF. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh my goodness. And it does that if I leave the little bottle sitting out, it'll have all these bubbles that you can see in there. And I've never seen hydrogen water do that before. So what is that all about?
So we developed a technology that was created for dialysis patients,
Mm,
and they basically are in such a sick, dire state and health, and it's very sad, but they could only drink a few ounces of water, very, very little bit of quantity of water. So that few ounces of water that they could drink needed to be the highest quality of water possible, right?
mm,
So through that technology designed for dialysis patients, the sickest of the sick needed to get the highest quality and the highest saturation levels and the highest hydration properties of water in just a few ounces of water. So we took
mm,
that and made it into something so much more. And that means the sickest of the sick, if you can only drink a little bit of water, you could have our super saturated levels of hydrogen rich water and get a very powerful punch as if you were to drink a lot more quantity of water. We're
mm,
using something called threading, which can create this extremely high pressurized system to
mm-hmm.
create the super saturated level of hydrogen rich water. And we're not altering the pH of the water, which a lot of
No.
other hydrogen rich water does, because
Mm-hmm.
they're not separating the oxygen from the hydrogen. When you don't separate
Right.
the oxygen, you're getting hydroxide ions, which actually they alkalinize the water and they create some oxidation. And so that's why none of our hydrogen machines have oxygen. We separate the oxygen,
Right.
we just keep the hydrogen. And with the water bottle, it's the same deal. And so we
Mm-hmm.
have that nano threading, and it actually has a 20-minute runtime to create this
Mm-hmm.
extremely high amounts of pressure with a pressure release valve, because
Yeah,
you
I love
need
the
to
little
release the
valves.
pressure. Yeah,
Yep.
you hear the which releases
Mm-hmm.
the pressure, and then you need to consume it ideally immediately. And so the newest models have UVC lights in there as well. It comes
Mm-hmm.
with a filter. So if you don't have filtered water, which they need to be run off filtered water, which no other companies are talking about this. They say, hey,
Mm-mm.
here's your
Mm-mm.
bottle. Just put water in there,
Just
hit the button. Well, if you don't put clean water in there that has harmful contaminants, bacteria, different mineral composites, this
mhm.
can not only damage the PEM, but it can also release other harmful oxides into the water.
Right.
So our bottle actually in the kit, it includes, I think we have the only bottle in the world that includes
Got
a
a filter,
filter.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So most of
exactly,
us
which
have
is stupid.
access, right, to clean drinking water. But if you don't have access and you're traveling and you have water with chlorine or fluoride, you can put
Mhm.
the filter in there and that will remove a lot of harmful things from the water to give you clean drinking water. One, two, to not harm the PEM. And that's what no
Mhm.
one's talking about. You need to
Mm,
put very clean water in these hydrogen bottles to not damage the PEM.
right.
Another
Right.
very important aspect is that we have what's called cumulative runtime. The cumulative runtime feature is extremely important because how do you know when to service or clean
Mhm.
the hydrogen bottle? One company could say, "Hey, once every 30 days." Well, one
But what
person,
if
you,
someone's using it
Sarah,
8 times a day?
yeah, you use it,
Right.
you know, 10 hours a day. The other person uses it 10 hours a week. So
Mhm.
that's why having cumulative runtime on the bottle or on any of your machines, all of our hydrogen machines have cumulative runtime as well, is
Mhm.
very important because this gives the user power because it's giving the user data. And so you could say, hey, every 100 hours, I need to run the self cleaning process. Our bottle, too, which I think only one other bottle out there in the world has a self clean process.
Mhm.
So this means we reverse the electrical current in the PEM, which releases ozone into the bottle. So that cleans and decalcifies the PEM and cleans the whole hydrogen process through ozone. That's built
Mhm.
into the machine as well. So you have so much technology packed in this little machine um, that says, hey, I see how many hours are on the machine. Okay, it's been 100 hours. I need to hit the self clean feature, which releases ozone, which descales the PEM, which is going to mean you will always get consistent hydrogen production for the life of the bottle. And
Mm.
so we're guaranteeing 3,000-hour runtime. Most bottles don't guarantee any type of runtime, and let alone hydrogen production and hydrogen saturation levels.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really important because I think again, people are so fixated like the person who commented on my video, "Oh, there's cheaper stuff out there." Da, da, da. I'm like, "Well, why don't you go talk about it then because I'm not there's a reason for this because this is something you're consuming on a regular basis. And I see people using the bottles 8 times a day. Like that's the only water that they drink. And
Yeah.
they don't know. And the one thing I will say about the cheaper hydrogen bottle, because you just brought it up a little bit ago, was I used the ORP meter to test the alkalinity. I used distilled water, which is neutral, pH neutral. It's
Yeah.
like 7, I believe. And
Mm-hmm.
the pH after I ran it through the hydrogen water bottle, not yours, the other one, went all the way up to like 8.5. Um, so that's not a dangerous level of alkalinity, but it's also not necessarily what you want to see. The holy hydrogen didn't do it. It kept the pH the same. And then the regular Axiom kept it the same. And then the water bottle kept it the same. But this little water bottle, which I've only used it 2 or 3 times, it went up to alkaline from a neutral pH. So that's the average person is not going to know to look for that or even know that it
Yeah.
might be some sort of an issue. But yeah, it's something to have on your radar, I would say.
Yeah. That's exactly the thing is that as the research continues, and this is why we include like meters with our product, because we want to empower you guys to do your own tests, check
Mm,
out what's going on. You need to know. You buy a water filter, you better buy a meter to verify your
mhm,
filter works. If you have a
mhm,
filter in your home, you better have a meter or a form to test the chlorine to make sure it's removing chlorine. If you
mhm,
buy a hydrogen machine, you should get H2 blue drops or a digital meter to test it.
mm,
And so
mm,
these things are very important. And I had uh, old friend that was running a hydrogen, or I'm sorry, a clinic and he bought like 100 hydrogen bottles. This was like a year or two ago. He's like,
Oh
yeah, I'm going to
gosh.
start selling these. And I'm like, oh, cool. Have you done any tests on it? He goes, no, not yet. I'm like, okay, let's test the hydrogen. Hey, it had some
Mm.
hydrogen in there. I said, well, that's good. Let's test the pH. It was at like a 10,
Oh,
like
that's not good.
a 10, super
No.
alkaline. That's like, this
Yeah.
is going to really damage your gut health, and especially over
Yeah.
a short, period of time. And
It
he
was
had, it was like,
Tyler that did the test that showed a 9.8 and above
yep,
is dangerous. Yeah. And that's the
yep,
issue with a lot of the Kangen machines is that
yep,
hydrogen will go away and then the pH will go way up. And then people think they're drinking a good water, but it's
yeah,
actually super alkaline and no hydrogen. So there's
yeah.
testing is really important if you're going to make an investment like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's different quality, there's different things, and if people are still in a different the old world where they believe alkaline water is good for them, then they're going to be making different decisions for their purchases. But I mean, this has been called out by many different health professionals that the jig is up with alkaline water. It had nothing to do with the
Yeah.
alkalinity, and so
Nope.
you know my friend that had that clinic with the 100 bottles, he was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I can't sell these. I said, no, you can't. You got to try to return them or do something, because that is actually going to end up harming people. And then again, which harms hydrogen as a whole, to say, oh, I had a
Mm-hmm.
hydrogen bottle, it didn't really work, and it actually really messed me up, so I don't like hydrogen. No,
Mm-hmm.
that product did that, not hydrogen. That's
Right.
why you need clean, pure products with educated people that didn't just show up 6 months ago. If
Right.
you're getting involved with the hydrogen company, it's been around for 6 months, you're looking at someone that's trying to capture their share in the market. They see the hype, they see the wave, they got an investor, they invested, they created a quick mock-up website, a quick little Instagram, they bought 10,000 followers, and now they're calling themselves the hydrogen company. You're not
Mm-hmm.
educated. You didn't study at MHI. I've been in the game
Mm-mm.
12 years. So I've seen the scams, I've seen the runs. I can tell really quick who's legit and not. So, these companies, if you're choosing the ones that have been around 6 months, 1 year, most likely they're just chasing money and sales.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to be super careful and use a lot of discernment, ask a lot of questions. I mean, I have people DMing me or on emails to the company all the time. What type of polymer mixture are you using in the PEM and the chemical composition of the titanium? And it's like they don't even know what they're asking, but someone somewhere told them to ask all these
Right.
questions that they have no
Right.
idea what they're asking. And
Correct.
so
I get that too.
we we have to ask, are you a chemical engineer or electrical
Mm-hmm.
engineer? We're really curious about your type of questions. It's very intriguing. We love to know more about you and where you're coming from, where your worries are coming from. Oh, well, no, I don't know anything, but I was told from this other company to ask you guys about this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these are the fear tactics of fear mongers and the haters spreading lies and trying to trick and confuse the customer to not buy our machine.
Mm-hmm.
When you buy let's say a brand new Mercedes, right? $160,000 Mercedes, and then you have the Hyundai or the Kia, right? They're telling that consumer, well, what message the Mercedes company and ask them about the materials on their pistons in the engine. The consumer's like, I don't even know what I'm asking. I don't know anything about engines. I don't know anything about chemical compositions of what the pistons are made out of. But the guy at the Hyundai, car company is telling me to ask this. It's like there's a reason a Hyundai is a Hyundai and there's a reason a Mercedes is a Mercedes. And and so we're not going to try to trick the people with weird electrical engineering verbiage or technology. We'll always answer respectfully and honestly, but some people like, where's your manufacturer, who are they, what's their address, what are their materials made? It's like, look, we run a business and we need to protect our relationships. There's only about 4 quality hydrogen production manufacturing companies in the world, and I'm not out to just tell everyone who I've been working with for the past 3 years either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, So I love people want to get educated, but people also need to use discernment to say, hey, this other company can't give me a straight answer. And they're telling me to ask all these questions. I have no idea what it means to this next company. Well, then most likely they're just trying to confuse you because they can't win. And that's why
Right.
haters are coming up. If someone's really good and they're really true and honest, they're not going to bash the other company. They'll tell the differences and may the best man win.
Yep.
So
Yeah. It's tough for consumers out there. It really is because you just
it is.
I always tell people, and this goes for anything, if somebody is the way that, and we talked about this in the very beginning of the conversation, the way that they are getting your attention is scaring you, bullying you, and bashing other people. That's the big one, is bashing other people and bringing other people down. I would be cautious about that. Um, it's popular. Some of these people get like millions of followers because they do that, because they do the low blows and they talk poorly about others, and it's drama and people give it attention. Just when you're doing your research, be wary of that sort of tactic, because it's definitely prevalent out there in the wild west of the internet. So yeah.
Yeah, people will say anything to try to get a sale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here just wanting to express transparency and education. And if it results in a sale, great. But
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I always say take the two, three, five best machines you can and knock yourself out. Run all the tests on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
Axiom's being coming out as the highest purity, the best results, the leader. So that's why, we're already very well established. So I don't have to hate on the companies. When someone
Right.
brings up a holy hydrogen, I don't need to hate on them. I
Mm-mm.
say there are a lot different flow rates. Like I wouldn't use
It's
it for
different.
breathing hydrogen. That's pretty much
Mhm.
pointless. But for hydrogen water, yeah, it creates great hydrogen water.
Good
It
water.
does.
We still run it for water all the time, you know? Yeah, it still does good
It
water. And
has,
we've had ours for a year and a half and it's great. But
yeah.
it's not
Like
something I would
we
spend
don't
time
have to,
inhaling.
yeah, we don't have to say, oh, that's a bad company, a bad product, their lies, buy us. No, it's fine. It's great. And it's $2,500. If that works for you,
Hmm.
go ahead, knock yourself out. We know that the
Hmm.
flow rates are much different.
Hmm.
So that's true, and that's the truth. There could be some knuckleheads representing the company, that say certain things, um, and other companies. A Brown's gas machine. We won't talk about which ones, but Brown's gas. Hey, what's the difference? I'm not going to say sodium hydroxide is dangerous and don't take it. I will say here's a difference. That
Hmm.
uses sodium hydroxide. It's a very caustic type of chemical. You need to have filters. That's true about that machine. Our machine, we don't use that. We use distilled, double distilled, or deuterium depleted water, and there's no
Hmm.
filters. So this is not me hating. These are just differences. And so
Hmm.
people need to use a lot of discernment when someone representing a brand is talking bad about another brand. Well, they have a motive, you know? And so if it's an unbiased person that doesn't have any hydrogen companies and any hydrogen products and they own a bunch of different machines, they have I feel like a more trustworthy opinion because there's not a
Hmm.
secret motive behind it. And so, yeah, the haters are nasty and it's really sad. It's like, focus on yourself and your own product and your customer's experience, not everyone else. But when you're the top and you're the leader, you're going to get a lot of attention and a lot of heat.
Hmm. Yeah, it really does.
So it's a lot to navigate through there, and especially in the hydrogen world. And um, all we can recommend is, hey, Axiom H2, we can get you on a phone call with an educated person and help you navigate. We can get you on a phone call with our head medical director. We have Dr. Inman. He's been using hydrogen for years in his clinic through Axiom H2 and has seen astounding, incredible results from Parkinson's, cancer, professional sports athletes. Um, and we're starting to work with universities, we're starting clinical trials, and soon we're going to be, hopefully by the end of this year, beginning next year, get approvals for the FDA to have actually FDA approved hydrogen products.
Nice. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. Yeah. Well, I'll keep on staying in contact with you guys and bringing the people that listen to the show more information. And that's what I recommend people do, is just do your own research with this stuff and be wary of scare tactics, fear tactics that people are putting out there, and try stuff out for yourself. Buy an ORP tester. See, is
Yeah.
this water bottle that you bought, is it still working? My one question though, maybe you would know this, if a water bottle was maybe making some hydrogen still after a long period of time, but was leaching harmful chemicals into the water, how would someone know that? Would that be because it's changing alkalinity, ORP? Like, what's a simple way to test that? Would they need to send that water away off to a company to have it tested
Yeah.
for those chemicals? Is that the only way to really know?
Yeah. Yeah. As far as harmful oxides, you'd have to
Mm-hmm.
find a laboratory that tests for either heavy metals
Mm-hmm.
um, and things of that nature is what I would recommend, or see if the company has those third-party tests done. However, you could say, oh, well, this bottle has a third-party test, no heavy metals. Well, again, what the hours on the machine? That's why Axiom has a cumulative runtime, because we need to
Mm-hmm.
know what the hours are. You have a brand new machine and you say, look at this report. This brand new machine makes good, clean
Right.
gas. Well, we don't care about brand new things.
How
We want
long have you been running it?
exactly
Like,
100 hours in, 1,000 hours in, 6 months in, 2,000 hours in. That's when we want to test the machines to see these oxides and these harmful things. So that's where I came into place with doing my testing, is like after 500 hours, after 1,000 hours is really when the electrodes are broken down. Then you get the real reports. Now,
mm-hmm.
is it still producing X amount of ppm in the water? Is it still bleaching harmful things? Is it still operating
Mm-hmm.
properly? So,
Yeah.
those are the things to look out for. Just because it has a third party test, you want to find out, hey, third party test, how many hours was on that machine? Oh, well, it had 20 hours on it. So it's brand new. You know, I run my, all these tests on a brand new car. Of course, it's going to run great. Well, what if I run the test after the car has 50,000 miles? Oh, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't hold up to here. This doesn't work. The brakes, the X, Y, and Z. It's the same thing with the hydrogen machines.
Mm-hmm.
They look great when they're brand new, but the thing is, we're going to plan to use these for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years. We have our machines out there for 3 years now. They're still running
Mm-hmm.
hard, pumping every day,
Yep.
getting great results. 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, those are the things to look out for. And then, far as at home tests, the other things you guys could do, which I could recommend, is either, yes, getting an ORP meter, ORP,
Mm-hmm.
getting a pH meter,
Mm-hmm.
getting a digital H2 meter, which again, they're not super accurate. The true only way to get accurate readings is through gas chromatography.
Yeah.
But,
It's a way
excuse me,
you
these,
can test at home though, because that
yeah,
no, most people aren't going to have access to that, because I've seen other people say, "Oh, you have to take it to a lab in Japan. It's the only
yeah,
way to know." I'm like, no one can do that. That's not realistic. So how can the average consumer actually get a gauge, knowing that maybe it's not 100% accurate, but
yes,
it's still going to give you a good gauge? So I can tell when I'm testing my water, oh, there's no hydrogen left in this because it says 0. Oh, there's 2.1 in this one. You
right,
can get a gauge. You can tell from different, like, here's tap water versus the distilled water. Here's my
yes,
hydrogen water versus the spring water. Like, you can, because that's how I do it. I just test across multiple. I have like a lab in
mm-hmm,
the kitchen of
yeah,
testing all, and I have all this in my hydration mastery course where I show everybody how to do all this. Um,
amazing.
I think people should know how to do this sort of thing to know if something is crap or not, you know?
Yeah, if you're getting involved in the hydrogen industry and you're ready to spend a couple $1,000s at 2,500, 35, 65 or more, hey, spending $100 on some meters, H2 blue drops, you could buy chlorine bromide, which you can
Mm.
test that way with drops to measure chlorine in the water to see
Mm.
if anything's leaching chlorine or filters are
Okay.
working. The digital meter that we offer at Axiom H2, it has the ORP, the pH, and the ppm of hydrogen,
Mm-hmm.
which again, it's not super accurate, but it gives you a range. It gives you more of a
Mm-hmm.
presence. Hey, things changed. I can't say that this 1.7 is dead on accurate, but
Right.
this other water is showing 0, and this is showing 1 point and change. So it's giving us an
Exactly.
idea.
Right. Right.
The H2 blue
Yeah.
drops is another one to show a chemical reaction of, hydrogen levels. And again, there's other factors that can change this, and the source water is really what changes a lot of it, and the source
Mm.
pH of the water. But if you're using distilled, that's a great neutral starting point that weans out some factors that could change things. So you're doing it
Mm.
right, and I encourage everyone to check out Sarah's hydration course. It sounds amazing. And this is what I had to do, is like, you have to become your own little scientist
Play
and
with
create
it.
your own lab, right?
Right. Yeah, you have to be your own consumer. I'm like, I'm going to just test this out, especially if it's something my kids are drinking, my daughter's
Yes.
drinking. I want to make sure
Yeah.
it's the right thing. I really do, because it's anything I talk about, I'm using it on my kids and my family. I'm not just willy-nilly just talking about it, like I'm using it. So yes, disclosure. I will make a kickback if you buy something off my link. I appreciate anybody that is here, supports me, because that money will go to my kids and my family and supporting us. So thank you. I want to see
Amazing.
how things work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about them. So there's,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
And
feel
that's how
like,
you build trust with your following,
yeah,
because
I
you're
hope so.
investing. Yeah.
I hope so. I don't want anyone to ever feel that I'm just like pushing stuff at them constantly. Cause yeah, obviously this is an investment. Hydrogen's an investment. And we didn't even talk about tablets, but got so many people on the tablets that they aren't ready to make an investment in the machine. And they've
Yeah.
seen tremendous things just from tablets, especially there's one thing I get asked about probably on a weekly basis, and that's traveling, air travel. And I'll tell you
Yep.
what, when I did traveling last summer, and I've got a couple trips this summer to do speaking engagements, first thing I'm packing in my bag is the tablets. Now I'll be bringing the bottle with me. I'm excited about that. But those
Yeah.
tablets are fantastic for helping reduce oxidative stress, that you're going to be in these areas of high radiation. Or I've got doctors, nurses, medical healthcare workers. They take the tablets while they're on shift at work, and they're around hospital blue light, all this stuff, and seeing really, really good results from just using tablets. So I know there's a point to entry with even the bottle.
Yeah.
So I always say, try the tablets,
Yeah.
if you want to see if hydrogen can be helpful for you, start there. And those have
Yeah.
done really well for people as well.
Yeah. Our tablets, thank you for bringing that up, because that's the thing. People say, hey, these tablets work so well. Why do I need a machine? I say, you don't. Look, again, I'm just here to offer you a product and a service. If it resonates,
Mm-hmm.
great. If it doesn't, that's fine. But the tablets work great. That you can just keep buying tablets. I started buying tablets 12 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I bought the magnesium tablets for like 6 months, and I said, okay, I'm not going to keep buying tablets the rest of my life. I need to
Yeah.
get a machine, you know.
Yeah.
So, but our tablets, the solid state hydrogen tablets, I want to also, last thing I'll say about this, because I think it's time that I can release a little bit more information, is that people say, well, how's there hydrogen in there? How do you have solid state hydrogen? How does all work? Well,
Mm.
I'm now feel safe enough to release this information that we use a very specific form called Drywater. And
Mm.
Drywater is a patented technology where you inject gas into a liquid. And when you go through this process, what's called Drywater, it puts the liquid into these micro clusters. And basically, then it looks like a powder. So it's a way to contain a gas molecules in a powder form. And then we take the powder and compress it in a tablet. So we actually have, that's why it's solid state hydrogen. People say you can never have
Mm.
hydrogen, but there's actually, it's called Drywater. And so between that form and then the reaction of heat in the stomach releases all this hydrogen. That's why we have the most unique tablets in the world and on the market. And that's why I truly feel they work so much better than the water dissolved tablets. And I recommend everyone, you have the water dissolved tablets, great. I started there too. Okay,
Yeah.
when you're done that bottle, try our bottle. Try the hydrogen
Yeah.
or the Axiom H2 tablets, which are
Mhm.
orally consumed. and then you'll probably see a difference. And so that's all I ask people. Hey, try those because they're super unique. They're very, very powerful. And for traveling, they just do wonders.
Yeah, they do. And it's for my daughter. She didn't like the dissolvable tablets with the bubbles because
Right.
she would, but she will take these. And so I find that with a lot of kids, especially kids that are on the spectrum that don't want to drink because when you get those tablets that bubble up, you have to drink it within the first 90 seconds in order for it to be impactful, or all
Right.
the hydrogen's going to go into the air. But
Yep.
with the capsules like you guys have or the tablets, you just swallow them. And so it's not like you have to stand there and force your kids to
Sit
drink the water
there,
super
wait.
fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's faster, it's easier. And once it goes into your stomach, it's in a closed container. So you're not missing anything like the water dissolves it's escaping through the water. This one gets into the stomach, fully locks in there. And we're even in research and development, we're creating a tablet like we have now, but with very specific oil coated that will actually not break down in your stomach and it will make it into the intestines. So then it'll break down in the intestines to have an even stronger impact. So we're
Mm,
really just, again, the majority of our revenue that we create does not go into branding and marketing, and we don't pay influencers, we don't pay to do podcasts, we don't pay to go to
mm-mm.
events, we don't do that. We invest it back into research and development. And
Yeah.
so the company we're working with to create our tablets is a very prestigious kind of like pharmaceutical nutraceutical company doing extremely advanced things. So and same thing with our machines. They make a dental products and dental technology and medical grade products for hospitals. And now our new research and development firm. Now we have aerospace engineers working on all of our whole line of technology. So it's just very exciting things, and just know that my job is to provide you, Sarah, and everyone else the highest form of customer service and the highest quality products.
I love it. Well, of course, you guys can go check out all the links down in the show notes or just go to the Axiom website. You and I did another interview. I want to say it was last summer, maybe. So we'll put that in the show notes as well if people want to go in there and understand more about the therapeutic interventions of hydrogen and how it actually works. And definitely check out Dr. Tyler LeBaron, the Molecular Hydrogen Institute. What else am I missing before we wrap up here? Anything?
I think that's all. Check out your hydration course. Anyone
Mm-hmm.
that's really diving deep into water, I think
Yep.
that's amazing, and it's going to be very, very informative. And thank you so much, Sarah, for always, taking your time out of your day. I know you're running your businesses and your family, and you have so much to do. And so I really honor your time and thank you for the invitation. And big hello and hug to the whole community. And so thank you guys so much for receiving my information, and let me know if I could be of service to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mateo. Thank you so much for listening to the Evolving Wellness Podcast. Just a quick little reminder, this is not medical advice nor meant to be taken as a substitute for working one-on-one with a healthcare practitioner. And if you enjoy the show, please head on over to Apple or Spotify to leave the show up to a 5-star review. If you're over on YouTube, please leave us a like, leave us a comment. I really appreciate you for being here, for listening to the show, and your support means the world to me as I continue to try to pull guests from around the world to bring you informative content to empower you to make decisions about your own health. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.